Okay, Cashtook Bowcraft here. Getting ready to apply the sinew on this short bow that I'm making, Hickory short bow. I've got the bow reflexed and it's braced backwards with the backside in, or the backside turned into the belly as it were. Anyway, it's strung backwards, and when you apply the sinew, it'll dry like that, and it'll keep the bow in reflex once the string is removed. So I'm going to keep it, the sinew on there, and have it dry like that in reflex. So anyway, I'm not going to be able to videotape this because when I'm laying the sinew, I'm going to have glue and stuff all over my fingers, and the next shot will be after the bow has been sinewed. Anyway, I've got my sinew sitting here getting ready to be applied. What I did, I got them in even bundles, more or less even. I don't really match the lengths. I accidentally turned off the camera there, but a lot of guys, they'll match the length of the sinew and get all the same lengths in bundles, but I keep them all odd lengths, because when you lay it on the bow, it'll more or less weave into each other a little bit better. Anyway, that's the way I do it. I don't like to waste a lot of time making them all the same length, but there they are. I've got them in bundles and I dumped them in warm water, and now they're just laying flat. I'll probably soak them in water again just before I start laying them, but hopefully I have enough pieces here. It looks like I have enough at least to do two layers. I'm probably going to put a third layer on here as well, just to make sure. This bow is for somebody. I want to make sure it doesn't break. Anyway, so there you go. Getting ready. I've got my hide glue cooking. I actually made this hide glue a while back, and I had it in the freezer, and I'm going to use it so that way I won't have to make another bundle or another batch just for this. So it's in the slow cooker right now, and it's melting, and maybe in a few minutes it'll be ready to go. I got my warm water here to dump my sinew in to get it wet and pliable again if it dries out. And I'm going to be putting sinew on this bow. This bow is 50 inches long. I don't know what I'm trying to get 50 pounds out of it, and probably close to 24-inch draw length. So it'll be a really short bow, and hopefully it'll work out good. The limbs here are just over 2 inches wide, and they pyramid down to a ½ inch at the tips. And hopefully that'll work out as well. It's about 1 inch wide, maybe a little bit bigger, 1.5 inches probably at the handle. So there you go. Again, I'm going to start sinew back in this bow, and hopefully everything will work out. Once the glue gets melted, I'm going to size the back of the bow, put a thin layer of glue on the back of the bow, and then wait for it to get a little tacky, and then start applying the sinew. So wish me luck. Thanks. One other quick note, it's kind of funny, well, it's not funny, but it's cool that it happened, was I cut out this bow and I started rasping and floor tillering the bow, and I did it all by the way it feels. And so I go to string it backwards. I don't want to string it the other way yet until after I get it sinewed, but I go and string it backwards, and the bow looks almost to be in perfect tiller already. So that's a cool thing. That means less work for me to do later on. But that's just something I just noticed just now while I was looking at the bow. So that's a cool thing. We'll see how it goes when I string it the right way, but at least backwards it's in perfect tiller. Anyway, there you go. Bye. Before I start, I just wanted to show you guys the sinew that I use. These really long pieces here I use when I make arrows, because they're long enough to wrap around the long enough to wrap around the shaft. And these are deer leg sinew here. They're kind of scrawny looking, but I'm able to pound them out and get what I need out of them. And some of these are from cow legs, and these really thick ones here are really nice. But anyway, I pound them all out and it turns into these white fluffy strands here. And so, you know, if I run out of sinew here, I can always get some more over here. I always like to make sure I got more than I need, because you never know exactly how much you're going to need. But anyway, and that's what I pound them on. I got that rock there, and I use a little ball peen hammer with a smooth surface here, because you don't want to chew up your sinew as you're pounding it. And so that's it. That's what I do. Spend all day doing that. Took me all day to just do those, pound them all out and separate them and get them into that state. But anyway, I just wanted to show you guys that real quick before we get started. Thanks. Okay. Figured out how to get the camera going. What I'm going to do, the glue is all melted. I've got it in my slow cooker right now. It's set on warm. I had it up here, but then I moved it down here because I kept burning my wrist on the damn thing. But anyway, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to size the bow. And basically what that is just getting the glue onto the surface of the bow so that the wood soaks it in. What that does, that helps in the sinew to adhere to the back of the bow. There won't be any dry spots, as it were, underneath if all the glue is saturated into the wood. So I'm just going to put a thin coating of glue on here and just let it set for a while so it'll soak into the soak into the back of the bow. Okay, so I already laid a couple of bundles of sinew on the bow. Put this one here. Anyway, I put a couple of bundles on the bow already, and it's pretty straightforward. You just dump the sinew in the glue, and you want to stagger them so that they're like brickwork. You know, you want to stagger them so that you know, you don't have all of your seams lining up together, because when the bow bends, the seams will break. That's a weak spot. So you want to stagger your sinew and overlap them as well, so that there won't be any seams after it dries. Okay, so here's one bundle here that I'm going to put on. I'm just going to dump it in the glue. The glue is kind of warm. You want it warm. You don't want the glue to coagulate on you. And you just saturate the bundle in the sinew and just squeegee it out with your fingers. Then come up here, lay it on the bow. I like to overlap the ends a little bit. I don't know why, but I just do. Because you could sand it off later, but the sinew will shrink as it dries, and when it shrinks, you want to make sure that you'll still have the edges of the bow covered with sinew. So that's why that's the reason why I kind of overlap them at the ends. So you can see here that I'm putting on an even layer of sinew. I usually do one limb at a time, and just go from there. Pretty straightforward. I'm not going to spend the whole time videotaping the entire process, but you know, it's pretty easy once you get the hang of it. So I'm just going to spend my Friday night applying sinew backing to a short bow, listening to my Hawaiian music, smoking my cigar. So I'll turn the video back on when I get one side done, and then we'll do the other side. Okay, we've got the one limb done with sinew. What you want to do, you want to get like as close to an even layer after all your bundles are on, that you want to get an even thickness along the entire limb, because if you got too much sinew on one end, not enough on the other, you know, when you go to bend the limb, you'll have to tiller it that way. I don't know any other way to explain it. You're kind of adding sinew to the bow, so when you bend the bow, if there's not enough, maybe you'll get a hinge, or maybe the bow will be too stiff in one area and not the same stiffness in another. And so you want to have as close as you can get it, a even thickness along the length of the limb. The tops or the tips, I just faded them in, and then what I'll do is when I take the string off, I'll add more sinew and finish this up. I'll probably wrap it around the end, and then tie a piece of sinew this way to hold it all down. So right now it's kind of feathered into the ends, or into the tips, and then I'll finish that off later when I take the string off. And usually what I like to do after I get through at this point is I'll take a little bit of hide glue and just rub some on, or lightly brush some in over the top of the sinew, just to you know, put a final gluing of everything together. A lot of guys, what they'll do, they'll comb the sinew to make it really fluffy and straight, with no you know, things like this where they're kind of you know, not completely feathered in. I don't usually comb it because I don't really like spending the time to do that. And of course, you know, the more time you spend prepping it, the nicer it'll be. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on three. I've made up my mind that I will put on 3 layers of sinew here. And then after that, I'm going to cover the entire bow with some rawhide that I have. I got some rawhide that I got, and it's long enough to do this whole bow. So after I get the sinew on, I'm going to put the rawhide in, so you won't be able to see all this, all these little uneven parts of the on the finish. So just makes it look nicer. Anyway, I'm going to get ready to do this limb. And then after I do that, I'll turn the camera on and show you guys how it looks. Thanks. Okay, so there's the first limb that we did. And I just completed the second limb. Again, I just left the tips kind of feathered in there because I'm going to fix those after I take the string off. But anyway, you can see the sinew is on the bow. And it's pretty much, at least from what I can tell, pretty even along the length of the bow. I'm going to get ready to prepare some more bundles because I'm going to put a second layer on here. And then we'll see what happens. Probably took me about 20 minutes to apply all this sinew. Okay. Okay, here we are. I just put on the second layer of sinew on the bow. Looks pretty much like the first layer, it's just a little bit thicker. And I don't think I'm going to have enough sinew to put a third layer. It'll probably be a partial third layer. But what I'm going to do is, for that third layer, I'm just going to run not a large, but a layer of sinew over the middle, right down the middle of the bow, so it kind of crowns a little bit over the bow. And then I'll lay my when I'm all done, I'll put the the rawhide backing on the bow. So at least for now, this part of it is done. Now we're going to wait a couple of weeks for it to dry and take it from there. There's another view. There you go. That's what the bottom looks like. Alright, so that's it. Okay, so this is the next day, and you can see I still have this bow strung up backwards. What I did after the last video last night was I went ahead and put on a third layer of sinew. I only had enough to put a layer on the middle portion of the bow. I didn't have enough to cover the entire limb, so I just put it on the middle portion of the bow, and it sort of created a small crown above on the back. And then I used the strands or the leftovers to kind of build up the handle part here, so you can have a little bit better grip when you're gripping the bow. The sinew itself has been drying overnight. It's still a little soft. It's not dry. It'll take, at least a week, 2 weeks to dry. The longer you wait, the better. My only problem is I hate waiting. But anyway, we're going to have this setting for at least 2 weeks, at least until it gets rock hard. And then I'll remove the string, and I'll clean up the edges here, the ends here, with some more sinew over the nocks, and then we'll begin final tillering and hopefully shooting, and hopefully it'll stay together. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this thing on my homemade spine tester and just leave it here and let it set for a week or so. So there you go. That's the way I sinew back my bows. And like I said, hopefully this will work out good, and it'll be another successful bow by Cash Stick Bowcraft. Thanks.